Hi guys, Gregg Belt, who I know contributes a lot to this channel, and fair play to you. Really appreciate it. You asked me would I be interested in talking about Scott Hutchison and his death. Um, God rest his soul, the poor fella. He um, he went through an awful lot of grief and heartache. So I thought, yeah, absolutely. I'm not asking for people's suggestions and then just completely ignoring them. It's a topic that I really am interested in. I'm not going to try and dig deeper for a lot of the details. The poor lad was going through an awful time, and I've watched a few of his interviews just to kind of get myself familiarised with him and his band Frightened Rabbit. Um, I want to just start off by reading out something from the Scottish Zone because I think this is an important message, and I'm going to hammer it home at the end. But we're going to start off with a worrying statistic from the Scottish Zone. Worrying suicide being the biggest killer of young Scottish men aged from 35 to 44, as expert highlights warning signs in wake of Frightened Rabbit singer Scott Hutchison's death. Glasgow University suicide prevention expert Rory O'Connor, not to be confused with Rory Stories, whose research found out that 9 young people in Scotland have attempted suicide, explains what to look out for. Sorry, 1 in 9 young people. Geez, that's a very bad stat. Sorry. Getting ads popping up on this all the time. Yeah, so sorry, I'll read that again. Glasgow University suicide prevention expert Rory O'Connor, whose research found 1 in 9 young people in Scotland have attempted suicide, explain what to look for. Sometimes these things aren't very well worded. There's no commas where there should be, and I get a little confused, so bear with me. Basically, 1 in 9 young people have attempted to take their own life, which is quite worrying. And it's the biggest killer for men aged 35 to 44. I'm a bit dozy because just had my first swim of February, which went really well. It's a lovely day. This just needs to be talked about, and I think is a really good topic. So thanks again for Gregg Belt for suggesting it. Yeah, suicide is the number one killer of men under 50 in the UK as a whole, to the whole of the UK. So, like, I don't think anyone's surprised to hear that, really, are they? Like, let's be real. I don't think anyone is actually surprised. I think we've heard so much about it now that we're all like, look, people are seriously struggling out there. It's not unique to the UK, but I mean, wherever it's highlighted, we need to look at it and think, why is this happening? Um, and there's no use of me talking about it and then somebody else goes and does it. That's my big thing. I'm there like, oh, isn't it tragic? That's why I posted the videos about Liam Payne, Caroline Flack, and Sinead O'Connor. I mean, Sinead O'Connor, obviously, she died of um, bronchial asthma and pulmonary disease, but her young fella tragically took his own life, and that's horrendous. That nearly had me in tears, like genuine tears. I try and hold him back, but that touches you. That's really sad to hear that he let himself out of a psych ward, was wandering the streets. Everybody worried sick about when the poor fella ends his own life. No, that's heartbreaking to hear. Um, but just gonna go through this article with you, the Scottish Sun. Um, yeah, officers confirmed that Scott Hutchison's body, Hutchison, it's not Hutchinson, it's Hutchison, FYI. His body was found at Port Edgar Marina in South Queensferry on Thursday night. In a statement released through Police Scotland, Scott's family said, as a family, we are utterly devastated with the tragic loss of our beloved Scott. Despite his disappearance and the recent concerns over his mental health, we had all remained positive and hopeful that he would walk back through the door, having taken some time away to compose himself. Yeah, Rory O'Connor has a picture in there of him. Now leading Glasgow University expert Rory O'Connor has spoken out about the key warning signs to look out for amid suicide concerns. He said, we need to be aware of people talking about hopelessness, asking, who would care if I was gone, or expressing feelings of low self-esteem. What's the point of me staying here? Who would really miss you. I know my family would miss me, and that stops me from ever doing anything. And I get days, believe me, where I feel like I'm just gonna go and do it. And there's days where I literally have prepared for it and not gone through with it. There's been so many. I don't consider them attempts because I was able to talk myself out of it, but I fucking get them, and it's not nice. When I did attempt, it wasn't emotional. It really wasn't. I was so angry with everyone pissing me off, getting on my tits, feeling like I wasn't able to contribute anything, feeling like I'd let people down. Also annoyed with everyone just for not, giving me peace and always on my case, being the butt of jokes. Do you know what I mean? I've always been the one who entertains everyone, and I was like, fuck this. It was a very impulsive act, but there were feelings and warning signs, and it's a hard thing to manage. What do you do? Do you watch the person all day? I don't know, but certainly something is going very fucking wrong. This is not an isolated incident. It's just a high profile one. I want to make sure not to be insensitive. I want to get it right. And I'll carry on with Rory O'Connor's thing, but just as a side note on that. So, carrying on with Rory, what he said, if they are talking in this tunnel vision, if they are talking in this tunnel vision way, we need to try to intervene and reach out. Ask are they all right? Check in on them, give them reasons for living. There's always fucking shit popping up, isn't there? Like negative stuff I find always popping up. I need to I need to get a breather from it. I've actually said a thing on Instagram. Here's actually on a side now. I've been talking a lot of negative stuff, about rugby, and it's been getting very negative. Like I posted something online there, just calling out bullshit. The negativity behind sport. There's the thing about Celtic and Rangers hooligans clashing. There's always something negative trying to get your attention. It's fucking doing my head in. That's something I need to take a break from, and I'm going to. Jeez, I get sucked in so easily by it. Do you know what I mean? That will fuck your mental health up. Just saying, getting in on you. But there's a picture here of Scott Hutchison, indie rocker Scott, posted cryptic messages on his Twitter account just hours before vanishing from the Dakota Hotel in South Queensferry. Yeah, and I'm trying to skip up ahead of it, and the thing is still fucking popping up. How about these fuckers take some responsibility for constantly pumping out negative shit all the time? Like it's not the Scottish Sun, it's not just them, it's not just anyone. I'm talking about the media in general, just always putting a negative thing here. That like I'm zooming down, I'm talking about something serious here, and next thing a fucking brawl between football fans comes up. Like fuck off. And then it doesn't go off the screen, it's still popping up on the side as I'm scrolling down. Really does my fucking head in. But I'll carry on here and I won't get distracted. I'll try not to. Scott said, be so good to everyone you love, it's not a given. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm so annoyed that it's not. I didn't live by the standard and it kills me. Don't like he wanted to set those standards. Sorry, I didn't live by that standard and it kills me. I didn't love everyone. I didn't appreciate everyone. Is basically what he's getting at. Please hug your loved ones. I'm away now. Thanks. Oh yeah, Jesus. Oh, that stuff touches home with me like it really does. The troubled singer, whose band has released five acclaimed studio albums, has spoken in the past about his battle with depression. And looking at his interviews, like you could see a very sensitive human being. I've watched a couple of his interviews there. He's clearly a very sensitive human being. Clearly a very down to earth guy. I like his personality. I think he's very. How do I put this? Stuff affects him more than the average Joe. You know what I mean? We keep always hammering home. It's okay to cry. It's okay to talk. It's okay to fucking be yourself. That's what I want to hammer home. Like you might not be this macho prick. That's fine. He's a great musician. I feel like we need to stop being like, oh, you have to be one way or the other. If you're naturally someone who's good at fixing things and doing more stereotypically masculine things, fine, but you don't have to rub it in people's face. All this negative masculine shit. Fuck's sake, can everyone be quiet? Jesus, it's hard to make a video as it is with everybody making loud noises. I'm trying to talk about a serious topic here. Um, yeah, everyone seems to want everyone else to fit a mold, and it's like be yourself. We fucking hear it enough, but do we ever actually listen to it? I feel like there's a clear link here with Scott Hutchison and loving music, but being very anxious and very shy. And I've read his biography. Apparently, he called the band Frightened Rabbit because that's what his mother called him when he was little. Because he used to get night terrors and be very anxious, which is how they came up with the name for the band. And yeah, just reading on here. Troubled Scott Hutchison sang about leaving suicide for another year in a haunting song, Floating in the Fort. Jesus. And then, yeah, a lot of his themes are like he talks about cancer in one of them, like what it takes from you. And yeah, it's just he's clearly an empathetic human being. I feel like people who are highly empathetic, other people's problems tend to come above their own. You know what I mean? Why couldn't I have done more for that person? Why couldn't I have been better to that person? Um, I feel like what you can do if you are a friend of someone and like you see it. I'm someone like that who worries about everyone else, and then if I intervene, I feel like I get it wrong and people give out to me. It's like say to someone, "Don't worry, I will deal with this. You look after yourself. I'm fine, but I appreciate you offering to help me." I think was unfortunately was that kind of person who would just take everyone else's problems on board and think, "Why is the world such a cruel place?" And it's kind of like I'm into the music, but then my anxiety gets to me so much that I reach for the drink. Um, I felt that with rugby, and I was only watching a really good interview with Jim Hamilton and Gavin Henson. Now, Gavin Henson, like when you look at him, you think, oh, he's a stuck up prick, with the hair gel and the fake tan and all. Changed my opinion about him completely because he talks about the nerves that he got, very anxious, and then everyone would be drinking. Like he was very professional, trained hard, and had the ideal sort of attitude, and he didn't get what he expected when he went into the Swansea underage team. That would be the Ospreys. Um, he played for many years with them. I remember him, like his kick was phenomenal from behind the halfway line. He was your guy. And anyone remember that brilliant tackle on Matthew Tate where he just lifted him up and carried him back? Oh, it was impressive. I never really got to see that Gavin Henson. I only saw the cocky fella who, well, at least made out to be cocky by the media. And they have their fucking part to play. Um, but separating the great rugby player from the anxious wreck that was drinking alcohol, and I can relate to that because I love the sport, but there's a massive drinking culture, and then if you're not part of that, people are kind of saying you're soft or come on, oh, don't be a dry shite, come and have a drink with us. I finally felt a level of acceptance, and I felt like that's great, but it fucks you up. Heavy boozing is not good for you, and it will fuck your mental health right up. Rather than taking a load of antidepressants, you've got to take a breather from alcohol if that's the case. Like, look, I love having a drink at games or whatever. I had a few at the weekend, like last weekend, and I might have one or two this weekend for the games, but the level that I was doing it at every week and playing a physically grueling rugby match is just not feasible. It will fuck you up. Like, and lads doing drugs as well only convinces you more that it's okay what I'm doing because I'm not taking drugs, especially in Ireland. And he's Scottish, the Scots and the Irish have a huge drinking culture. You kind of go to yourself, actually, what I'm doing isn't too bad because I'm not taking drugs. Alcohol is fine. Sure, all my family members do, like they drink all the time. Smoking and drinking, they're fine. Sure, every old fella that I meet does that, in the pub. Um, and you hear George Best talking about it with Eamon Dunphy, and Eamon Dunphy offered him a joint, a bit of weed. And George Best was a raging alcoholic. Like, I don't know how he drank as much as he did. He got a liver transplant, and he drank on top of that, and he was so hooked on alcohol. But when Eamon Dunphy offered him a joint, he said, no, 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 that's drugs, I don't do that. But he destroyed his body with alcohol, like completely destroyed his body with alcohol. And he was another anxious person, and I get that with Scott Hutchison. There's a lot of depression with people who are creative, and artists. Just look at Vincent van Gogh. I was trying to pronounce that the Dutch way, Van Gogh. Not Van Gogh or Van Gogh, it's Van Gogh. But he was meant to have bipolar disorder, so there's a lot of creativity there, you know. But anyway, moving on and back to Scott. Rory O'Connor goes on to say he is the director of the Suicidal Behaviour Research Laboratory at Glasgow University's Institute of Health and Wellbeing. He explained, "When you're in that dark place, you can't see the alternative. You can't see beyond the next hour, day, or week. People from all walks of life will kill themselves. It doesn't matter who you are, you can experience isolation or despair. It can look like someone has everything from the outside, but you never know what's going on in their head." And I want to just get to the interview that I was watching with Scott Hutchison, where he's talking about being by the Scottish seaside and eating the same three meals every day. I just going to throw it out there, and I always give out about people self-diagnosing with autism, but I think it sounds like he has a touch of it. There's a lot of relatable stuff here, like having set meals, needing to get away from it all, the noise, the loudness. I was reaching for alcohol all the time because I was so fucking anxious. Alcohol just dumbed me down completely. I didn't have to pay attention anymore, and that's what it does. It damages brain cells. It disinhibits you, you know. Um, with him, I like the night terrors. I used to get them as well. I used to wake up in the middle of the night. My poor brother, when we stayed in the same room together, I used to throw things across the room and I used to hit him. My mum said I never slept a whole night through until I was about 14 or 15. So that's how I was. Like a frightened little rabbit myself in many ways, She said, I don't know what was happening with me there, just a complete brain fart. In the minimum, too much alcohol. After damaging all my brain cells. But that's the thing as well, he had to escape from it all. And the simplicity of being down here by the seaside, I just posted a video about it there. It's amazing what it can do for you. It's so simple, it's free. I love it down here in Wexford, the southeast of Ireland. I'd rather be nowhere else. And it's simple. I've gotten way less material because I'm down here and I appreciate the beauty that is Wexford, the southeast of Ireland. It's a beautiful county. He certainly did as well. He needed to get away from it all. I was only watching a documentary on Sky about Boyzone and the pressures of touring. You don't sleep. Sleep deprivation leads to depression. So does binge drinking, and they were doing it all. So when you're constantly working too hard, you're not sleeping, but you're also binge drinking alcohol. Those things are gonna fuck you up. You can say what you want. If you're prone to depression and you're doing that, it's gonna fuck you up. It really will. And it seems like poor Scott, God love him, got on top of him. He was more prone to it. Like that level of anxiety where you can't communicate with people and you're beating yourself up over it. Like the nerves I used to get before a game. I hated myself for it. I was like, you fucking useless prick. Why can't you get motivated for this? Like, what's wrong with you? Do you not want to play? Do you not want to win? Being a physical sport like rugby is, it was like, be a fucking man about this. Stop being such a coward, Just making sure I have enough battery there. I have plenty, thank God. Because it's one I really wanted to make, and I'm glad I finally got around to it. But you go to yourself, why can't I fucking be normal? And then when I start meeting girls that I liked, I was like, why the fuck can't they be better? Why can't they be more confident? Not cocky, but why can't I talk to them? And I found it hard to relate to people. It's just you beat yourself up about it because you're like, oh, it's easier to judge people and say they're bad, so I won't even make an effort. And you're like, they're lovely, they're good looking, I'm attracted to this person, and I can't fucking say anything. I can't tell them how I feel about them. I'm such a nervous wreck. I'll have a few drinks. You have a few drinks, guess what? You make a fucking fool of yourself, and you're not being you, and you get into trouble, and that happened with me all the fucking time. And I beat myself up for not being better, and he says the exact same thing. I'll read it again just so that you hear it. I'm away now, thanks. Basically, I think he's decided it's curtains. I've tried, I can't do it anymore. Be so good to everyone you love. It's not a given that you will, have love. I'm so annoyed that it's not. Yeah, me too, pal, me too. I didn't live by that standard and it kills me. Please, hug your loved ones. Yeah, love them, appreciate them. As much as my brother and my mum doing my fucking head in. I absolutely loved them. Um, and I know that they would be devastated. I don't think they'd ever get over it if I killed myself. So if you want to think about it, in a lot of people who do end up committing suicide are the most empathetic people you'll ever meet. Use that empathy to go, do you really want to put somebody else through that? Like, imagine when you're gone, they'll never get over that. They'll always think, could I have done something more? Could I have saved them? You know, and imagine putting someone through that. I don't think suicide is a selfish act, but I certainly think you leave a lot of devastation behind. And I've said it before, and it might have sounded a bit harsh, but whatever belief you can use, if it's a religious one like I use, like, you're given this life, this is a beautiful life, you know, you will have struggles, but you will get over them. I have. There's some that I'm still dealing with, but there were days I really did not see the light at the end of the tunnel, and still I got through it and I felt better. And I always can say to myself now, even if I feel like shit and have an absolutely terrible day, get myself some sleep, get a rest, relax, get up, go out for a walk, go for a swim in the sea, and tomorrow will be a better day. You know, it's in your power to control it. You have the power to control it. And if you want to, here's a big reason for me feeling negative about myself, as I told you, but it's the fact that I feel like I should have done this, I should have done that, you know, or also even the opposite. I shouldn't have done that, and I feel like an absolute prick. There's been times where I drank and people really pissed me off, and I was in an aggressive mood. You know, my mood was all over the place, and I was just out for fucking blood. I was like, "What are you fucking looking at? What do you know?" Someone was looking at me because I was shouting, and I was like, "What do you fucking want?" It's amazing that nobody fucks with you when you look like a head case, but as soon as you look like a nice, vulnerable person, that's when they'll fuck with you. That really pisses me off too. It's like when I'm being good and decent to everyone, I'm more likely to get fucked with. Whereas when I'm an aggressive, aggro prick, no one would come near me, and I don't like being that way. It doesn't make me feel good, and often it happened when I was around people who were concerned and thinking, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like, and you're there going, "Why can't I fucking have this move?" When someone's a dickhead to me, why do I feel like not saying anything to them? Why did I let them off the hook? And then the flip side, why was I such an arsehole to that person? Oh, but you can't control it. Like when you have mood issues and a mood disorder and mood problems, it's fucking yo-yoing up and down. You don't know if you're coming or going. You don't know what mood you'll be in from one minute till the next. Like, I couldn't guarantee people I would be able to play a match some days. I felt so annoyed with people because I said to them, I just want to play 30 minutes to 20 minutes even. That's all I can last. You know, I'm on heavy medication. I can barely run. I'm just happy to show up on the pitch. But then lads wouldn't show up, and I'd feel like I had to play the whole game, and I was dying, and then I puked on the pitch, embarrassed myself because I had pushed myself way beyond my capability, and I made myself look like a fool. And I don't do that anymore. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting myself out anymore, because guess what? You put yourself out, people fucking take advantage. Not saying, as Scott says here, appreciate the good people and the loved ones in your life. It is not a given. If you have someone who loves you genuinely, hold that fucking tight, because he's dead right. That is not a given. And just think of what you will do to that person if you take yourself away from them. You mean something to them as much as I probably do my family's fucking head in. They love me, and I know they love me, and I know they'd be fucking devastated if I was gone. Um, as you say, I don't think it's a selfish act, but I think about it and what you would do to them. You love them, don't you? Take a moment, take a deep breath. I know it's painful. I know that, but it's not gonna last, not forever. Get yourself off all the alcohol, all the drugs that you're taking, if you're taking any, because I guarantee you a lot of people who feel this way are after taking some substance as well, you know. If you can stay off them, you will feel better. If you can get out in nature, you will feel better. And I know not much, you know, I'm not giving you a lot of false hope, because I know even when you do everything right, you still will feel like shit sometimes. And look, I get it. What I think is the best advice I can give you is a gratitude journal. If it's a beautiful day outside, and I say them in all my videos, it's a lovely day out tonight. I appreciate that. I'm grateful that today is a beautiful day. I'm grateful that I have my beautiful dog with me, Alfie, who I love, even though he crosses over and he's nearly tripped me up a few times now, and I go, what are you doing? But when I look at that smiley head, I can't help but go, look at that. I love him to bits. That's why I give out to him. It's like, don't fucking do that. You'll hurt yourself. I'm like a helicopter parent with him. But yeah, um, here we are now. We get on to what Rory O'Connor has said. People don't always want to die, they just want the pain to end. Absolutely. I was so angry. I was full of pain. You can't, looking at my mouth there, sir. Um, yeah, they can't find peace and they think it will never end. Trust me, it's never as bad as it seems in the moment. It feels horrendous. We're just grabbing your face in anguish. I know that feeling all too fucking well, where I think I just can't stop fucking up. No matter what I do, I fuck up every time. Make a list of your achievements. Say to yourself, I fucked up here, but how many times have I not fucked up in that situation? How many times did I feel anxious about something and I persevered with it anyway? I don't give a fuck what other people have done. Did I feel like an anxious wreck before that and yet I still managed to persevere? Give yourself a pat on the back for that. That's an achievement. Just because you didn't play a game today, sometimes it's alright to go, lads, I'm not feeling it. I'm not doing it. Um, I used to always think that I had to come up with mad excuses like I'm injured or I'm sick or whatever. And yet I've played when I had the flu, when I was dying. And I thought, oh, I didn't give the best account of myself in that game. Guess what? I was fucking sick. I was dying. Other lads let the team down, not me. Other lads didn't show up and I had to take their place, even though I knew I wasn't fit enough to do it. And I think I gave a pretty good account of myself. Which I'm glad I can say at last. It does get fucking better, I'm telling you. But anyway, let's go on. I'm just stopping it in between. Yeah, just to repeat what Rory said. People don't always want to die, they just want the pain to end. They can't find peace and they think it'll never end. Understand completely. Suicide is often described as a permanent solution to temporary problems. People have tunnel vision and feel trapped. And look, sometimes there's very real problems, like I'm in financial difficulty. That's a good reason, people go and do it because I've got bills to pay, and how am I going to get them paid? I'm such a useless piece of shit and I can't get myself into work. How am I going to make this money? How am I going to pay it back? Financial burdens are a huge reason why people kill themselves. And it's important in times like that, when you are at your worst, that you have people that you can rely on that will help you out. Because look, that can be a difficult situation. If you're struggling financially and you feel like I haven't got the wherewithal to go to work and pay my bills, I've lost my job, that's why I try not to be materialistic. You hear a lot of people who can't pay off stuff, that they've gotten, the latest car or whatever, living beyond your means. If you live beyond your means and then you get loans from debt collectors and all that, that's going to seriously take a toll on your mental health. Imagine the stress that's going to cause on you, like the financial burden. Financial burdens are a massive reason why people kill themselves. So what I would say to that is, let's think deeper. Let's think, I don't need all this shit to be happy. What do I actually need to be happy? I'm watching that interview with Scott. He said he needed a break from everything. It's too loud, it's too noisy. Being by the seaside in Scotland, having simple meals, he was talking about having 2 pieces of bacon. He had porridge for breakfast and some sort of rice and vegetable dish for dinner every day without fail. Simple stuff. I don't go and rip roaring nights out anymore because it takes a fucking mental toll on me. What I do instead is I just go for walks on the beach, have a few pints maybe with mates in a venue that I'm comfortable in, and then, like sometimes, yeah, if you really like the person and you haven't seen them in a while, maybe you go on a big night out, fine. I'm not saying, as I've said before, you never drink again and you say, I'm not doing this, I'm not going out. Locking yourself away, not a good thing. But say to yourself, I've tried, what do I feel comfortable doing? It's not always about other people. What do I feel comfortable doing? If I've put myself out there for someone, I've done my bit. Now it's time for me to look after number one. And there's nothing wrong with that. Think to yourselves, would this person put themselves out for me? If the answer is no, do not feel obliged to go out and do that. Don't put yourself out for people who wouldn't put themselves out for you. And even if they hassle you and use the case of, oh, but we're really good mates, we haven't seen each other in a while. Maybe there's a time where you invited them out and really wanted them to come, and they didn't. They let you down with some bullshit excuse. I'm not saying cut all ties with everybody, but what I'm saying is don't beat yourself up if you don't, you know, meet an obligation to go somewhere. If you don't feel like it, say, look, I'm not feeling it today, mate. Sorry. Don't lie to them. Go, I'm not feeling well. My head's all over the shop. I'm just going to give it a miss. I'm sorry, but I hope you have a great night. No problem. No problem at all. And I've no problem if people are honest with me. If they go, look, not feeling it. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I hope you have a good night. I'm just absolutely knackered. It's been a long week. Say no more. No issue at all. Look after yourself, and I'll see you when I see you. We all need to be more sympathetic to ourselves as well as other people as well. Yeah, geez, that's mad. I didn't even read this. I'm only scrolling down now. Suicide is often described as a permanent solution to a temporary problem. People have tunnel vision and feel trapped. And just touched on what I said, Rory, whose latest research found 1 in 9 young people in Scotland have attempted suicide, said anything from job loss, as I've talked about there, to a relationship breakdown can fuel the negative cycle of despair leading to suicide. And he argues people's bid to achieve social perfectionism can lead to constant fears of letting loved ones down. What have I just talked about there? There we go. Like, if that doesn't show you that he agrees with me on this, isn't that perfect? There's Neil Hutchison there with Grant. Geez, Grant is very like Scott. Yeah. Geez, they look absolutely devastated. God love them. Um, Referring to the figures, he added, we are clearly failing our men. Suicide is the leading killer. Men are less likely to seek help than women. So we need to be aware of these signs. We absolutely fucking do. Couldn't have said it better myself. And then now just saying, singer Scott vanished from the hotel at 1 a.m. on Wednesday after posting a tweet, I'm away now. It was revealed he made a very distressing phone call to a close pal shortly before his disappearance. Drummer Grant, 33, said, yeah, Grant is his brother, sorry, and he was the drummer of the band. I thought the person's name for a second was Drummer Grant. Just the way it was phrased. Drummer Grant, 33, said the singer phoned a friend to say that he was feeling low and wanted to be left alone. Police confirmed a body has been found during their search for the singer. And just if you want, there's a hotline here. Samaritans on 116 123, or you can go to www.samaritans.org if you're struggling. Yeah. Very sad, very fucking sad, really is. And like, what's being done about it? I think we're having a conversation about it at least, if nothing else. But gotta stop this shit from happening. Really do. Scott was 36 when he died. He died on the 9th of May 2018, age 36. Scottish Borders. He was born in 1981, 20th of November, in the town of Selkirk. He was the second of 3 sons born to Marion and Ron Hutchison. My heart goes out to them. And he had 2 brothers, Neil and Grant, who I mentioned there was the drummer of the band. Yeah, Hutchison suffered from anxiety and night terrors throughout his childhood, and his mother would often refer to him as her little frightened rabbit. Oh, when I hear stuff like that, Jesus, knowing what happened to him, like, is, oh, fuck me, that really gets me going. Oh, like, I'm not making, that was really, oh, I don't often cry during videos, but fucking hell. You can just picture him as a little kid, like, can't you? Fucking hell. It just came over me there. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's fucking heartbreaking. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. I haven't read that stuff out to you there. Just, it's after just really getting me. That's what really gets me every time when you hear back to when people are kids and. Oh my god. Oh, that's fucking heartbreaking. That's what always gets me every fucking time is when you hear like when you hear what people were like when they were growing up and you see pictures of them as a kid, like fuck me. Oh Jesus. I don't even think I can carry on with this one. I'm just gonna finish it off with this. I'll try anyway. Frightened Rabbit the band. Um, After police discovered a body at 8:30 in the Port Edgar region of South Queensferry, and on the 11th of May confirmed that it was Hutchison. No immediate cause of death was disclosed, and I'm not going to go into detail about that. This is too fucking bad. Like, it was later confirmed by his family via the Tiny Changes mental health charity website that he died by suicide. Tiny Changes is a really good charity that I've researched in Scotland for anyone suffering. You can research it. Frightened Rabbit issued a statement following Hutchison's death, which read, "There are no words to describe the overwhelming sadness and pain that comes with the death of our beloved Scott, but to know that he is no longer suffering brings us some comfort. Reading messages to support and hope from those he has helped through his art has helped immensely, and we encourage you all to continue doing this. He will be missed by all of us, and his absence will always be felt, but he leaves a legacy of hope, kindness, and colour that will forever be remembered and shared. Rest peacefully, Scott. Much love, Grant, Billy, Andy, and Simon. X." Oh, there was so many heartwarming messages to him. Oh, Jesus. In May 2019, the Hutchison family established Tiny Changes, a mental health charity named after a lyric from the band's song Head Rolls Off in memory of Scott. In July 2019, Atlantic Records released Tiny Changes, a celebration of Frightened Rabbits, the Midnight Organ Fight, an album featuring musicians, friends, and colleagues of the band covering their 2008 album in full. It was supposed to be released in summer 2018 to mark the 10th anniversary of the Midnight Organ Fight, and Scott Hutchison was fully involved in the process and had approved the tracks included in the run-up to the cover albums. In the run-up to the covers album's release, the remaining members of the band gave several interviews stating that the band does not exist without Scott. He was so loved, wasn't he? Jesus. And that's I'm gonna leave it on that. Alright, that's that research part done. Oh my god, that's fucking heartbreaking. I don't often cry in these videos, but Jesus, that really got me going. And I'm not fucking pretending, these are not crocodile tears. That really fucking got me going. When you just think of a kid like being so anxious and nervous, and then that poor kid grows up and they never truly recover from it. It's I'm gonna probably have to leave it there, guys. I don't think I can carry on with this. This is too fucking heartbreaking, like it really is. If that doesn't prove to you how much this shit means to me, like it really fucking does. Too many people are taking their lives. I don't know how many times I have to say it before people actually start realising it. I don't think I'm in a proper headspace to give out any more advice. I don't think it'd be responsible of me, but wow, wow, fuck me, Jesus. Even talking about my own attempt, I can kind of put stuff to the back burner. This really brings it all home. Oh, fuck. Guys, I'm going to leave it on that because that's after really getting me. Rest in peace, Scott. You'll be forever missed. God love you, and God love your family.